Welcome back to the AI Limit Plant Guide, friends. Glad you tuned in again. And we are still in Elysium. And now a wave of bosses is coming our way. And of course, we continue here in the guide. And today we're already getting the first ending. I'll show you where, and when it's best to back up your save game. And how you can also get the other endings. First, it's best to talk to Vikus here. And give a thumbs up, friends. Very important so that the guide reaches many people. And people find the guide. Yes, that's exactly how it works, and that's why we go through the triangle here. And then the first boss is already coming. Friends, as I said, buff yourselves up. I'm skipping the bosses here because they're basically just normal enemies that are a bit stronger, and you have to defeat 3 of them in a row. It's very important that you defeat them all one after the other. Otherwise, you'll have to start all 3 over again if you die on one. So, manage your potions well. The first one here only cost 1 potion. That's already great. So, off to the next triangle and, of course, buff up nicely beforehand, so that everything deals proper damage. So far, so good. We go in once, grab the next boss. It's another lady we've defeated several times before. And we go all out, on her again. And then, we take down the next boss here. Yes, that one cost us 2 more potions, so we're still doing well in the game and can, of course, go through the triangle again and buff up beforehand. Then go through the magic triangle, which teleports you to the next dimension where you have to fight the next boss. Feel free to use penetrate to boost your sync rate again, very important. This one is actually quite a pushover, so very weak, and you can defeat him quite easily. Some attacks deal quite a lot of damage, so be a bit careful there, and in the end, you'll get over 1 million points. So far so good. And once we've dealt with the 3 beside it, we can go through the last magic triangle here. And now, we find our way back here again. Yes, here we find Shirley. We need to talk to her for a moment. And she has somehow become quite sad. You might have also noticed that her eyes are now red, which, lore-wise, has some significance. In any case, talk to her once, and she will give you her doll, which she asked you to throw away for her. And that's what we do. We simply go to the cliff here at the edge, and can then confirm that we want to throw the item away. So, from the conversation, just turn around. And then an X appears here. And here you throw the rabbit doll down in. Then, of course, talk again. And, yes, then the story continues a bit, friends, and you can finish the dialogue here. Once we've done that, we go back to the checkpoint, which is right next to it, and then, of course, we can level up, and just continue straight through here. All the way, to the end. Yes, and at the very end, when we've made it through, we come out again, on the upper level of Hagios Patter. And there we go up here. And there we meet an old acquaintance, namely Vikus. And we actually have to fight him now. So, you have to defeat Vikus once. It's actually a pretty cool fight, to battle Vikus again. I also find his story relatively cool. But what's a bit annoying is that he's relatively easy. I defeated him, and I still had 8 Renki left, which I found a bit too easy, I must say, and in any case, don't worry, we don't kill him. He then says a few words to you and actually gives you a bit of loot. Cheap loot for being Vikus. I don't find that so great either. But, oh well, let's grab the loot and have a chat with her, and then you get the trophy from him. Humanity. And we've taken care of that. Continue up here, friends. And there, you'll find the next NPC right away, namely Felyia. And she's located back here, in the left corner. Yes, you can have a chat with her. And she will quickly go down, and her quest will be over, as well. We picked up the Holy Blood Crystal and then, of course, we activate the branch, to activate the checkpoint. Here. Yes, so far so good. The checkpoint is there, and now, friends, it's important. Now we first go somewhere else. Don't go straight through yet. Don't defeat the boss. And above all, if you have defeated the boss, do not talk to him afterward under any circumstances. Very important, in case you have already progressed here. But now we first go back, specifically to the forecourt, because we still have quite a few things in the inventory that we can sell. And that's why we are going to the merchant now, because he gives you the most money for your items, and we are selling all the goods here. You can really sell everything except for the last item. Everything will be sold brutally. Here, 170 machine parts, 30 crystal discs, and you will get a bunch of crystals for them, including these fire codex things here. We sell all of them too, so really simple. Sell all the goods, but of course only goods. Friends, no weapons, no equipment, nothing at all, just goods. Then you'll have about 90,000 crystals. You can upgrade yourself properly again, depending on which weapon you choose. And, yes, with that, we can now take on the next boss, namely, Ursula. And we find her when we travel back to Shirley's room. And she was well hidden before. I had already given you a hint at the bridge. That's why we're going there now, fully upgraded, and can simply fight against Ursula. She is quite strong, in my opinion one of the strongest bosses in the game. And she is really tough. So, prepare yourself to die often. So, walk left here once, follow this path. And you'll come back to the bridge that I already showed you in the previous videos. From here, we simply jump, down here. Important, make sure you're full of energy, friends, otherwise you won't survive. Just jump down here once, then heal up again. And don't worry, there's a branch down here, from this pipe that you can cross. Jump to the other pipe and you can collect something there. And there are just stones. Yeah, great stuff. Of course, we didn't jump down here for stones, but we jumped down here once more. And then take the door, and, friends, you will come to an elevator at the back. You can take it down once in. You will find the next branch there. Before the boss fight with Ursula. Definitely activate it. Go in here on the right, and you'll find the branch here. Also, there's an important item, namely the observation protocol, which we'll need later for the quest from the robot from the doctor. Yes, so far so good. Branch activated. And now we can. Yes, friends, level up once, check everything again. It's important that you use the underwater coffin once to boost your fire defense. Divine Shield, Underwater Coffin. These are definitely important items. Eternal Claw for penetration, resistance to everything plus 100, and resistance to everything plus 200. Should you have everything with you? And then we go into the boss fight, friends. And I'll do it with you because it's quite tough. In my opinion, it's important to stay very aggressive. Use fire. Enchantment, of course, use penetration. And then stay relatively aggressive here. Especially in the first phase, we can do really well with this. And then, get her down quickly. Always watch out for a strike, she usually does. 2 strikes, so here, wham, and wham. And here we can now hit her, special, and then we see her on the ground very quickly. You see, it works very well. Our buff kicks in, and we quickly get all her energy down. Just wait a bit, always during her strikes. She usually only does 1 strike. Now, she's buffing herself up again, but by then it's really too late. So really stay aggressive, friends. That's the secret, especially here in the first phase. In the second phase, she transforms again, and there she is. Well, how should I put it? Relatively well tied to the ground, which allows us to effectively unleash our special on her. And that, of course, works wonders. So go into the boss fight here, second phase. She now has less sync rate, which is, of course, great. We activate our penetration again to keep our sync rate high. And now you can already see, when you unleash a special, you can hit her in the parish station very well. Place your strikes effectively, so just make sure you have enough special ready. And this way, you can easily interrupt her, and you see, then she becomes super easy. Actually, you almost have no energy left now. Pay a little attention to your health. And then, of course, use the special again for emergency penetration to boost your sync rate. And then Ursula is down, and we still have 7 potions, friends. So it's actually easy if you go at it aggressively, but it might take 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 tries. And then we can talk to Ursula at the back of the branch. She is connected to the branch, and we can now disconnect the connection for Ursula. That's why we go to the branch and disconnect the connection. After that, there's a little dialogue with her. And she thanks us for freeing her. So definitely, without a doubt, talk to her again, once more, because she gives you a very important item that we also absolutely need to advance Delpher's crucial quest. It says living seed here, but of course, it's a living seed. We take it with us and then basically kill Ursula because she asks us to. Yes, we can bring the seed to Delphar later, but we're not doing all that right now, friends. It's very important that you don't do that yet. First, activate the AST here so that you have all the branches. Later, you get the lab key, and you can upgrade here again if you like, and so on. And once you've done that, we'll go through the door back here, on the other side, right over there. And we can simply unlock it. There, we will meet the doc. Doctor, you can have another dialogue with him. And, at some point, he gets so angry that he throws some robot parts at you. And when that happens, you just killed him because you have no other choice. Yeah, no other choice. Yeah, so far, so good. And with that, the doctor is down. And now we can continue. We then get the badge here. You don't necessarily have to use the elevator back there. We don't really need it. Grab the report here. Feel free to read it if you want, and then we can go back to the AST. And now we move on, friends. So what do we do now from the AST? We then go teleport-wise to here, and well, what was that? Let's go there again. Yes, we're going back to the Celestial Vault because we're going to take down the boss first. After just fighting Ursula, we change our equipment because we definitely need it now. Lightning resistance and defense against everything plus 50 is always good. That's why it's best to change the fire defense to electricity defense here. And with that, we can then go into the next boss. Friends, very important, if you fight and defeat the boss now, then definitely not with the lady. Do not talk to her at the end. Do not talk to her, activate the tree, and then I'll show you the rest because you need to make a backup of your save game right away. So, it's very important. Go in Loskid the Sun, and yes, friends, it reminds me a bit of Michaela because Loskid the Sun has long, blonde hair and looks like a woman. Well, you know what I mean. Otherwise, I think the boss is pretty good, so he is. I even find him stronger than Ursula. But yes, as I said, it also took 3, 4, 5 attempts. The tactic is actually the same as with Ursula. Activate penetration, activate fire damage. But she deals significantly more damage, I feel. That's why we're, of course, aggressive again. And we can't just take her down as easily as it might work with Ursula. But make sure to stay aggressive nonetheless. And keep your oil orbs ready at the end. They actually saved my life again. Especially in the second phase, she deals a lot of damage. And we really have to be careful there. Especially her hits are all a bit delayed and somewhat unpredictable. In the second phase, it's particularly tricky. And you don't know exactly when to use your special. I just used it in between her hits. And then it happens again. To deal a bit of damage. And you can see that they also deal quite a lot of damage. You could also try breaking the part in the middle. I think that's a little secret here. But with this boss, I'm not entirely sure because I just continued as I was. But maybe, seeing it now, you could even break the part in the middle. Just try hitting it. I'd be interested to know. So feel free to let me know in the comments if it works. Otherwise, as I said, she's quite aggressive. Watch your health. I don't need to tell you that. But especially when she goes up like this, you can get in between if you don't forget the double dodge here. Just place another special, and I really did poorly here. I have to admit, I fought badly. Because she goes up at least 3 times. And then you can either, in between, place something again, preferably after the second hit. The third one is such that she flies up again, and you have to be a bit careful. Here, it's best to step back and wait a bit. Yes, see what her hits do, and as I said, they are really quite strong, in terms of damage. Afterwards, definitely try again. Dare to use the special, and you can see I'm out of potions here too. And that's why I was quite happy that I still had a few oil balls in the quick slot. And, indeed, it was pretty close for me too, so, as I said, I found her stronger. Then, Ursula. I have to honestly say, because you saw how we took down Ursula, that was pretty easy. Unlike her, because she really does a lot of damage, I must say. I find her to be a cool final boss compared to the last one, who was really a bit dull. Yeah, otherwise, finish her off here, and Loskid goes down relatively quickly then. As you can see, the fight was really close for me too. It was good that I used the special here, and yeah, then, she was defeated too. For me, the strongest boss in the game. And, thus, we also got the kid's clothing here. And you can go ahead and put it on. It's actually a pretty good armor. And it significantly increases defense. Very important, friends. Now, after this boss fight, do not talk to the kid. So, do not talk to Loskid. Under no circumstances start a conversation with her. This is very important, friends, because first, we're going to save our game. Make a backup of our save game. Therefore on, no circumstances talk to the boss here afterwards. She appears next to the branch now, and do not talk to her. Because otherwise, you'll automatically trigger the next ending and then you'll have to do everything again. So, we go to the branch. Level up at your leisure, you can do that without worry. We have enough crystals to enhance your skills here, yes, friends, and then we'll basically make a backup of our save game. As I said, it's very important that you absolutely do not talk to her. Because we still have to unlock several endings here, and that's why we're simply leaving the game now and making a backup of our save game first. When we're in the main menu, we just go to the PlayStation menu. And there, we close the game to continue. Here you just go to the PlayStation menu, press the start button, and click on close game, and then we can proceed to the next step. Initially, all of the current and existing data from your device is synchronized properly. Then, you proceed to the synchronization status, where you check all saved data thoroughly. After this, you can then save your console data to the cloud. Upload. This way, we can create a save game. And then you go to your settings on the PlayStation, saved, data, and game app settings. And there, you change the synchronization of saved data. Very importantly, you disable the synchronization of saved data. Friends, because otherwise it will override our cloud save, and we don't want that. After we've deactivated everything, we can now go back into the game and continue playing. And here we are back at the branch, and now we can basically trigger the different endings in, repeatedly retrieve our save from the cloud. That's why we're going to talk to Loskid here. As mentioned, it's very important that the synchronization of the saved data is now off. You can do this in the settings menu. Talk to her, you'll get the golden branch. Go through all her dialogues, completely until she has nothing more to say. And at the very end, we go up here and can discover the sphere, which we then use to basically reach the final section. Yes, when we arrive here, the Celestial Orchard, then we're actually in the right place. Activate the last branch here, and you should then also receive the trophy for all branches, or all branches, that you get here. Yes, then continue on, just keep walking through. It's such a huge garden here, and all the way to the left corner, you'll find a small pavilion. And there we can collect another item, namely, signs. We've collected signs and can then simply continue on here. You will then discover a large gate here. Just follow this large path all the way to the big triangle at the back. And you'll find it completely. I actually don't need to show you anymore once you've arrived here. Activate the branch here as well. I believe it doesn't actually belong to the trophy, but by now you should have activated all the branches. Then walk straight through somewhere, and you'll get to a cutscene that tells you a bit more about the story. And, of course, the final boss appears here, and we take care of him. He's super easy, friends, so just take him down and you'll get the trophy at the end. The end of the childhood. And, with all these cutscenes, the thing is done. We now go back, close the game again, and then we can load our old save from the cloud. So, close the game and load your cloud save. Upload your save, again so you can collect the next trophies. Just go to save data here. Upload and download when you have closed the game, also using the start button on your controller. There you can then transfer the save data from the cloud back to the console. Load. So click on cloud storage here, then on download. And here, the time should now be earlier than the console storage if you did everything correctly. If the times are the same here, then you didn't turn off synchronization, and that would be pretty bad. So, we load our cloud save again and are back here at the decision with Loskid. And we'll continue here in the next video, friends. We still have to take a few paths to unlock the next ending here. I'll show you that, but all in the next video. So folks, until then, adios and bye-bye.